Fox News alert on the investigation into the origins of the Russia probe. It centers on some shocking testimony in the trial of Igor Danchenko, the alleged source of the notorious Steele dossier. And in a surprising turn of events, special counsel John Durham led the questioning himself, and he went after his own witness. Yesterday, FBI supervisory counterintelligence analyst Brian Auten revealed that the FBI offered Hillary Clinton operative Christopher Steele $1 million if he could prove his allegations that Trump colluded with Russia, but he could not. Durham further pressed Auten over the lack of corroboration justifying that FISA warrant against the Trump campaign in 2016. Durham saying, quote, "You and your colleagues took the information and put it in the Carter Page FISA application. You didn't have corroboration from FBI databases, from other intelligence community agencies, or from Christopher Steele, and it still went into a FISA application." The witness answered, "Correct." David Spunt is live outside the Virginia Federal Courthouse. David.
Well, Brian Auten was on the stand for a day and a half. We also just heard from Charles Dolan. He's a Democratic public relations operative. And according to John Durham, and Durham is doing a lot of questioning specifically in this case to show how invested he is, Charles Dolan admitted that he saw some information on television news, gave that information or gossip, as Durham may want to call it, to Igor Danchenko. Igor Danchenko then put it in the Steele dossier, saying that it was from a Republican or a Trump operative. Igor Danchenko's charged with 5 counts of lying to the FBI in a 3.5-year, a little bit more than a 3.5-year investigation into the origins of the Russia probe. This is John Durham's second trial. He lost a trial against a former Clinton campaign attorney, Michael Sussman, back in May. But to wrap this all up, what John Durham is trying to do, the special counsel here, is showing, despite the fact the FBI had no corroboration from multiple sources, the FBI kept going forward with that FISA warrant on Carter Page to essentially surveil Carter Page. So in many cases, Kayleigh and everyone on the couch, this is more than just a case about Igor Danchenko. John Durham is trying to build a narrative that there were problems with the FBI in 2016.
David. Well, hello, everyone. This is Outnumbered. I'm Kayleigh McEnany here with my co-host Emily Campagno and Harris Faulkner. Also joining us, Cassie Smedley, and for the very first time, Kevin Walling. Welcome.
Welcome.
Good to see you, ladies.
It is quite something, Cassie, the revelations from this Durham investigation. I had our team put together a timeline because I think what's important in all of this, there's a lot of facts, a lot of names. Here's the crux of this. Two times, the FBI was told that this dossier was discredited. 2 times. The FBI nevertheless goes to a FISA court and says, I want to spy on an American citizen named Carter Page. Twice. Here it is. Here's the timeline. Early October 2016, Wall Street Journal editorial board laid this out. Steele offered up to $1 million to prove the dossier. Okay? He can't prove it. So what happens? They take the dossier to a FISA warrant, to the FISA court October 21. So that's time number 1. Time number 2, late January 2017, Danchenko, the source of the dossier, the guy on trial, debunks it. And so what does the FBI do in April and in June? They persuade the FISA court for a renewal of the warrant. This is proof that this was all a wash from the get-go.
You might call it a hoax. But Kayleigh, I mean, I hear that. Get it? All jokes today. But I hear this and I go, gosh, the FBI has so much making up to do. How are we, the trust in this institution, the decline in trust in the institution. That's what I think about as the average American. What are we supposed to believe now? They offer a guy $1 million to prove something and he can't, and then we still had to see it wall to wall across cable news for 4 years. It still had to be something that the White House, you're very familiar with, of course, had to deal with day in and day out when so many other issues were plaguing our country. And we're supposed to now go and say, well, I hope the FBI agent knocking on my door is trustworthy. I mean, it's just, it's mind-boggling. And I have to say one other point. Think of all the quote-unquote journalists who received awards for their coverage of this.
So true.
Not turning back in those awards. Meanwhile, you got Trey Yingstover covering the war in Ukraine. I don't know what awards he'll get. He deserves a lot.
Yeah.
But these other journalists who still get all these awards, that's what is going through my mind.
It is incredible, Emily. And meanwhile, we have a Fourth Amendment in this country that protects you from the government being this intrusive in your life. And undergirding this constitutional right is a FISA process where when you bring information before a FISA court, it must be verified. You have to have looked into this. It needs to be serious, credible information. No such case here.
That's right. Rules of procedure are just as important as rules of evidence. And that's why we see on a daily basis things like, well, if this wasn't in the proper chain of command, if this rule wasn't followed, this whole case is thrown out. That exists for the purpose of preserving the sanctity of our justice system. And you're absolutely right. The Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court, FISA, mandates, as does the Department of Justice, that you have to verify information before you submit it to the court. So let's back up a second. And at the risk of just beating a dead horse here, Cassie, that $1 million, that's our tax dollars. That's my money.
Exactly.
That's your money too. And that was offered by the FBI for him to prove the contents of that dossier. Well, that just shows right there that they knew it wasn't true if they had to pay someone or offer
100%.
$1 million for them to get that proof. And then to rely on that multiple times in submission to the court, to decide to interview Danchenko months later, and then still maintain to the court that the contents were true even after he debunked it, and then rely on it again to continue surveillance of Carter Page. This is something that we're talking about at the national level, but what about the millions of Americans, to your point, that are under surveillance under this hoax, this paltry abomination of the use of the procedure? The next time it could be one of us.
It's
It is
so true.
Outrageous.
Harrison, we learned on your show from David Spunt that Dolan testified today. He was a Clinton ally. What was interesting is I heard David tell you that Dolan admitted that he had just taken gossip and emailed that to Danchenko. I mean, what an admission.
Well, look, I have to actually really credit John Durham. I think we all do. I mean, some of the receipts that have come about with all of this, and I have to think that there must be some receipts, because I don't think that anybody would qualify and admit to that level of stupidity and egregiousness unless they really had to. But I want to go back to something that you said, because I think it's very important with the complicity of the media in this. And it isn't just that they haven't given back their awards on the lies that were told and the coverage of those lies as facts. For me, it is the collusion of knowing that they could be counted on. That no matter what was going on behind the scenes with the FBI and the $1 million of our money offered to give a guy something that if you love this country, you would do for free. Like, why do you have to give an American $1 million to tell the truth and do what's right for the country? But all of that aside, where are they now? I mean, let's just play the game of they were broken at the time. Have they gotten no counseling? Haven't they been doused in the truth now? Doesn't that cleanse them to the point where they can come forward with it now? No. And that word works there, collusion. Until they can prove me wrong, I'm sitting right here.
You have a point about the media, both of you. I mean, I remember I was at CNN at the time when the story was breaking. It was just after President Trump had been elected. I remember exactly where I was. Obama was giving a farewell speech. And BuzzFeed chose to run with the contents of the dossier. CNN reported it existed, not the contents. But my point is, all of that reporting, first of all, much of it irresponsible, but could have been stopped if the FBI would have just come out with what they know, Kevin. In fact, you had the Wall Street Journal editorial board point out, yet the FBI stayed mute about its failure to corroborate its claims, even as news about the dossier exploded into public view and disrupted the Trump presidency. And special counsel Robert Mueller, they point out, did not even include some of this information in his report that we taxpayers funded.
Listen, it's an excellent point, Kayleigh. We've got to reestablish faith in the judiciary, to Cassie's point. And this has so struck a nerve with the American people. Because, again, if they come to the door, you've got to have the idea that they are there for the right reasons.
No, you need to have an attorney in his PJs standing right next to you.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Or marry one and have them next door. But listen, we've got to establish that faith back. And that's why it's so important, I was a Biden surrogate, that this process is still continuing. Durham was appointed by President Trump, and it's so critical that the Biden judiciary is moving forward with this investigation, because we do have many more questions than answers at this point. But we've got to reestablish that faith in the American judiciary process, and it's got to be away from the partisan.
You know how you're welcome to do that? Tell the DOJ to stop telling the U.S. Supreme Court they can't look in on the Hunter Biden case. Let's start there.
Amen.
Look at that.
Amen. We got
And
3 separate branches of government.
The guy who testified yesterday, that special analyst, guess where he was put on the Hunter Biden case, despite all of his malfeasances.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kayleigh McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.